Before we get into all the team members and we get into the nuts and bolts of how you can kind of find the right team for your music and everything, I want to first introduce the guests that we have from TIDAL and invite them to come to the stage with us and to talk about the first team member that you need. And so Jason and Nick, if you want to hop on up, what's up, guys? How you doing?
Thank you guys for joining us today. My name is Jason Capana. I head up the artist and label relations team here at TIDAL. Pass it off to my colleague, Nick.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nicholas Coyne. Work with Jason on the artist relations team here at TIDAL. Also, one of the lead curators for the TIDAL Rising program. I've been here for about 7 years, and prior to that, worked in the world of radio programming and concert production.
So if you're at a level where you're ready for management, you think that your career is at that point where you need help, I would reach out to managers of similar artists a tier above you, because everybody has their taste in music, and managers are no different. They're music fans, and they typically will work in a certain corner of the industry that they know really well. So a hip hop manager, if you're a folk artist, you probably wouldn't want to approach a hip hop manager necessarily if they don't have any folk artists, because they're not going to know the folk industry as well as the hip hop industry, and they function very, very differently. So you want to find the artist. I usually kind of make a list of 30 artists, and at a tier above you, not the superstar tier, not you're not ready for there, but one tier above you. So if you're currently playing 100 cap clubs everywhere you go, 200 cap clubs wherever you go, look at the artists that are playing 500 or 1,000 cap clubs. If you're getting, let's say, 10,000, you have like 10, 20,000, listeners a month. And look at the ones that are getting 100,000 monthly listeners, something like that. If your following on social media is whatever, look at a tier above you, not 5 tiers above you, a tier above you, and then see who those managers are. Now, tools that you can use to find them. Jason and Nick talked about LinkedIn, which is great. A lot of artist managers are on LinkedIn. I like using Roster, and if you don't know about Roster, it is a paid service, but it basically has contact information for virtually everyone in the music industry. So it's pretty wild. I like, literally, you can search any artist. You name an artist, you could search it on Roster, and it pretty much has their full staff. All their managers, their booking agents, label, and contact information for every single person. So it's a very valuable tool right now. It's expensive, but it's worth it if you're going to be kind of interacting and talking to people in the industry and you need their contact information. Sometimes you can look at the artist's website or social media, and they'll have their manager listed there as well. Honestly, the best way to find a manager is for you to just keep your head down, work on your career, build up your career, and have them come to you. Managers love saying that they discovered an artist, and you want them to slide into your DMs before you're sliding into their DMs, and have them come to you. And then they're going to work that much harder, because they're going to feel like, oh man, I just discovered this hidden gem that's, I believe is going to blow up. And at that point, they might even be willing to work for very little money because they really, really believe in you, because they discovered you. And it is a total mindset shift, whether you hit them up or they hit you up. You want to make yourself very, very attractive. Now, a digital specialist is somebody that maybe you're not familiar with. They're very, very important to your team. Paid digital marketing and social media are the best ways to engage current fans and make new fans. And smart fan list engagement can deepen the fan connection and increase your revenue. They can help manage your social media. They will set up and run ads. They will manage your mailing lists. So whether it's email or SMS, they'll manage your fan club. There's a lot of, sites and services and platforms out there right now that understand that the artist-fan relationship is the most important connection and relationship in an artist's career. You cannot depend on third-party platforms like social media or DSPs to connect you and your fans necessarily. And as things evolve, the only constant out there is that your fans, you need to own their contact information. You need to own that relationship. You cannot outsource that relationship to a third party. You know, I'm old enough to remember MySpace, and I worked with artists that were big on MySpace, and they thought that was going to last forever. And they had all of their fans on MySpace, and when MySpace died, they lost all of their fans. They lost the entire ability to connect with them. Some of you remember Vine. Same thing happened with Vine. People built up their entire fan bases and audiences on Vine, and they had no other way to connect with them. Same thing happened with Facebook when Facebook changed the ability for you to connect with your audience without paying for it. You know, Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, the story goes on. I mean, this is just, if you depend on these third-party social media platforms for your fan-artist relationship, when those platforms change or shift or evolve, you lose that connection. Time for Q&A. As an emerging artist with limited funding, there are a bunch of different things to invest in, to spend your money. What do you suggest are the most important?
In my opinion, it starts with the music. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, Jay, you start, because what I'll say is kind of bouncing off of that.
It begins and it ends with the music. Are you making the best music that you can possibly make? So if that means you have to get your guitar fixed, if that means that you have to get a better mic, if that means that you need to invest in a producer that can help polish your music, or a mixing engineer that can help polish your music, I think those are the first steps before you even get to the publicist and everything else. Making the best music that you could possibly make.
Definitely. And obviously every genre has different things that stand out, that make an artist stand out within that cultural world of music. And a lot of it comes from defining your aesthetic, getting to know yourself as an artist, doing, you know, that research and that exploration, and finding out like who you are as an artist. And obviously, you know, probably spending a lot of your early money on equipment and your craft and everything that goes into your craft. That could be things outside of equipment too. That could be experiences, you know, that could be a number of different things, but it all ties back into like making your music the best it possibly can. And then, you know, obviously the work will become too much for you and you'll need a manager, and it'll necessitate that. I would say something that has been traditional as of late, but hasn't been traditional in the history of the music industry to have, like Ari said too, is kind of the videographer. I think that, and understanding what you need from a videographer, what you want to shoot, posting schedule, all that type of stuff. I think that's like the newest thing that people wouldn't immediately think of, but I think that serves artists well. As long as you can handle everything else on the business side, you know, developing a relationship with someone who can shoot, edit, and deliver in a timely fashion is definitely helpful too. Because obviously, you know, none of us can wrap our heads around the reach of content. You know, it could take a while for something to take off, but having someone with a defined aesthetic like Evan Bloom really helps communicate something very direct to your audience when you're ready to, you know, expand that audience.